I'm 78 years old. I woke up this morning before the sun, like I usually do now, and the house was so quiet it almost felt like it was holding its breath. That's when it finally settled in. Not as a sharp thought, but as a heavy truth I can't seem to put down anymore. Loneliness, for me at least, wasn't something that just happened. It's something I helped build, piece by piece, over a lifetime. I'm not telling you this because I need absolution. I don't think that's coming. I'm telling it because I don't have much time left to tell it, and because maybe hearing it from someone at the end of the road is different than hearing it from someone still rushing down it. Most days now look the same. I make my coffee weaker than I used to. My hands shake if I don't. I sit at the small kitchen table, the one that used to feel cramped when the kids were young and now feels far too big for one person. I listen to the clock more than the radio. The clock doesn't lie. People think loneliness is dramatic. They imagine tears or begging phone calls or sitting by a window waiting for someone who never comes. Sometimes it's like that, but more often it's quieter. It's just long stretches of no one needing you, no one interrupting you, no one asking how your day was and actually waiting for the answer. I used to think I liked that kind of quiet. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, I told myself I was just focused. That's what responsible people did. I worked long hours, I came home tired, I told my wife I was doing it for us, and I believed it. I told my friends I'd call them back when things slowed down, and I believed that too. Nothing felt like a mistake back then. It all felt sensible. I had routines. Wake up early, commute, work, come home, eat, sleep, repeat. On weekends, I caught up on errands instead of people. I told myself there would be time later for dinners, for conversations that wandered, for sitting on a porch with someone and saying nothing at all. Later always felt close, just not today. My wife used to ask me to come sit with her in the evenings. She didn't need anything specific, she just wanted me there. I remember feeling irritated by that, though I never said it out loud. Sitting felt unproductive. My mind was always somewhere else, already moving on to the next thing. I thought presence was optional, something nice but not necessary. Friends stopped inviting me places slowly, not out of anger, just habit. When someone says no enough times, you stop asking. I didn't notice when it happened. I only noticed years later when my phone stopped ringing altogether. I told myself people drift apart, that it was normal, that everyone gets busy. Those explanations were comforting because they let me off the hook. My children grew up in the background of my life. I was there, technically. I paid for things, I showed up to some events, but I wasn't really with them. My mind was always half elsewhere, rehearsing conversations that hadn't happened yet, solving problems that didn't need solving that night. I remember one specific evening. My daughter was maybe 10. She wanted to show me something she'd drawn. I told her to leave it on the table and I'd look at it later. I don't remember if I ever did. She doesn't remember either. What she remembers, she told me years later, is that she stopped trying after that. These aren't dramatic failures. No one stormed out, no one screamed. That's what makes them dangerous. They felt small, harmless, easy to repeat. Time has a way of smoothing over the feeling of urgency when you're young. You assume you'll notice when something really matters. You assume regret will announce itself loudly enough for you to respond. It doesn't. The cost of my choices showed up quietly. A friend who stopped calling, a marriage that felt polite instead of close, children who shared less and less as they grew older, holidays that became shorter, conversations that stayed on the surface. I told myself it was just a phase, that this was how adulthood looked. Then my wife got sick. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just tired more often, quieter, smaller somehow. I kept thinking we'd talk later when things settled. I kept thinking there would be a moment where everything paused and we could finally catch up. There wasn't. She died on an ordinary Tuesday. I remember being surprised by how ordinary it felt. The world didn't stop, the sun came up, cars drove by. I stood in the hospital hallway holding a coat I didn't need and realized there were entire conversations that would now never happen. After she was gone, people checked in at first. Meals arrived, cards came. Then, as time passed, the world gently moved on. I didn't. I went home to a house that echoed differently without her. That's when the loneliness changed shape. It wasn't just absence anymore, it was awareness. I started noticing how few people I could call without feeling like I was interrupting their lives. I noticed how many of my relationships had relied on her presence to exist. She remembered birthdays, she planned dinners, she kept threads connected that I never bothered to learn how to hold myself. I had outsourced closeness and never noticed. There are things you can't fix once they're gone. You can't rebuild shared history. You can't go back and show up more consistently. You can't explain yourself to someone who is no longer there to hear it. That's the part people don't like to talk about, the finality. The fact that some doors don't reopen, no matter how sincere you are when you knock. Now, at 78, I see patterns I was blind to before. I see how often I chose being busy over being available, how often I chose control over vulnerability, how often I waited for a better moment instead of using the one I had. Loneliness didn't arrive all at once in old age. It had been waiting patiently for me, growing quietly alongside my habits. I don't say this to be cruel to my younger self. He didn't know. He really believed he was doing the right thing. That's what makes it harder. Most damage is done with good intentions. I spend a lot of time alone now. Not all of it is bad. There are moments of peace. I read slowly. I watch birds I never noticed before. I remember things with a clarity that surprises me. But there are also long afternoons where the silence feels less like rest and more like a reminder of how narrow my world has become. Sometimes I think about how few people will really notice when I'm gone. That thought used to scare me. Now it just feels honest. If you're listening to this, I don't know your life. I don't know your responsibilities or your pressures. I know how convincing they can feel. I know how easy it is to believe that connection can wait. All I can tell you is what I wish I had understood earlier. Loneliness isn't always about being rejected. Sometimes it's about choosing distance again and again until distance becomes the default. You don't feel the loss when it's happening. You feel it decades later when the math of time no longer works in your favor. I don't have advice to hand out neatly. I don't believe life works that way. I just know that the moments I dismissed as small were the ones that mattered most. Sitting longer, listening without fixing, showing up when it wasn't convenient. Those were the moments I thought I could skip. I still talk to my children, but it's different now. They're kind, they're busy, they have their own lives, and they should. I'm grateful for what we have, even as I mourn what we never built. Some nights I imagine what it would feel like to go back and do it differently. Then I remind myself that imagining isn't the same as living, and living is something I don't have much of left. I've made peace with that, mostly. If this meant something to you, I hope you sit with it quietly, not to fix anything immediately, just to notice. Notice who you postpone, notice who you assume will always be there. Time doesn't warn you when it's about to run out of room. I don't know how many mornings like this I have left. I know I'll keep waking up early. I know the house will stay quiet. I know I'll keep thinking about the shape of my life and the spaces I left empty. This is me telling the truth as plainly as I can near the end of things. Loneliness isn't always something life does to you. Sometimes it's something you practice without realizing it, and sometimes you only understand that when it's too late to stop.